Commission meeting to order. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Mr. Mako. Good evening, all. Jeremy, roll call.
Greenberg.
Here.
Hicks.
Here.
Mako.
Here.
Shapaka.
Here.
Soriano.
Here.
Tamarkin is absent. Lester.
Here. Are there any corrections or changes to the agenda? None. The commission meetings for September 27th are out and reviewed. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved by Hicks.
Thank you, Mr.
Second, Soriano.
Thank you, Mr. Soriano. We have a motion by Mr. Hicks and seconded by Mr. Soriano. Any discussion? Hearing none. Jeremy, roll call.
Hicks.
Yes.
Soriano.
Yes.
Mako.
Yes.
Shapaka.
Yes.
Lester.
Yes.
Greenberg.
Abstain.
Motion passes. We now enter the portion where the applicants and speakers are going to be sworn in by the city attorney. I turn it over to Mr. Roth.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We are now at the public hearing portion of the meeting. The public hearing will operate as follows. Administrative staff will make a presentation or comment on the application. The applicant or their representative may then make a presentation or comment on the application. Public comment will then be open for 3 minutes allowed per speaker. Additional time may be requested. Permission is at the discretion of the chair. Speakers must complete a speaker slip and come to the podium and state their name. The applicant will then be given 10 minutes to comment. Additional time may be requested. Permission is at the discretion of the chair. If there is more than one application pending for a particular address, the presentation on each application may be consolidated and presented as one. At this time, will persons wishing to present testimony this evening please rise and raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, state I do. I do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roth. We now enter the application portion of the meeting. We have one item on the agenda tonight, a variance application. I will read the application in its entirety. V0021-2023 to consider a variance application to vary sections 1150.04F3 yard requirements of the codified ordinances of the city of Gahanna for property located at 11 Shaw Avenue, parcel ID 025-000185, current zoning OG1, garage addition. Edward Pettit, applicant. Turn it over to administration for the presentation. Ms. Blackford.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have an item tonight that might look pretty familiar to some of us. This is in the same general part of town as the item that we had a couple weeks ago. Same applicant, same zoning, same street, a couple houses to the south. It is OG1, which is Old Gahanna single-family zoning. It's off of Shaw Avenue. Fairly straightforward request. They are asking for a reduction in the side yard to allow for a garage addition. We'll look at the addition and where it's at. The side yard setback in this zoning is 5 feet. They are requesting 2.7 feet. This is the same setback as the existing garage. So approving this variance would allow for the footprint to be in the same general area as what's currently. The addition will match the height, dimensions, and materials of the existing garage. But that's not what we're approving. We're approving the variance. Oh, there we go. In white, that is the existing driveway. I'm sorry, existing garage. There you can see the driveway and the property line on the right-hand side of the screen. We keep going to the right. That is where Shaw Avenue is. So this garage is to the rear of the structure, the addition. Here is the site plan. Orientation has changed. I think the previous view was looking sort of this way towards the east. Here we have Shaw Avenue on the left-hand side of the screen. Pretty narrow lot. I know last week or last meeting, I think it was 50 feet, similar lot width. So again, when we're dealing with lot widths of this size, if we don't grant setbacks, it can be a little bit of a challenge meeting them. Here you can see there's an enclosed porch, driveway. This is the location of the existing garage. They're adding on the addition. Again, just over 2.5 feet is what the proposed setback is. Variance criteria. Are there special circumstances or conditions applying to the land, building, or use? I think anytime, I think last go-around, I talked about the, when this area was platted, it was platted pre-zoning code. Zoning code's 1958, and I think this was platted in the 30s or the 20s. I didn't look up when the home was built, but it was built around the same time as most of the other homes in that area. Then again, that was all pre-zoning code, so a lot of the existing improvements in and around this area are not up to code. So I would say, in staff's opinion, that's a little bit of a special circumstance. Granting the variance isn't necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of property rights. Would granting the application be detrimental to the surrounding area? This has been reviewed by appropriate city staff. There's no issues with granting the variance. No police, engineering, they didn't look at it, fire, and didn't say that this would create any type of, adverse impact. Staff, we do recommend approval. It is cutting that setback from 5 feet to just over 2.5 feet. However, that is sort of the existing condition on this property, and quite frankly, a lot of the other properties. It does look like a lot of these garages are detached in the back, probably were built before zoning code and probably don't meet the 5-foot setback. Really quickly, I'm going to get out of this, and I will just show, it might be helpful. Here's a street view image of the property in question. Oops, didn't really want to do this. It's not listening. But you can see here, looking from the street, this is the existing garage. The addition would be towards the rear of that. So I think the, any type of visual impact to the majority of people in this area, there would really be none. It wouldn't be visible from the road. And then if I were to go just here and we look at the adjacent property, I think it's also important to know, I believe that this is their detached garage in this area. So it's really garage on garage, so granting that variance doesn't appear to affect, someone's bedroom or anything like that. Again, this is where the adjacent property has their garage. So with that, Mr. Chair, I will turn it back over to your capable hands. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blackford. Is there anybody from the public or would the applicant like to make a comment? If so, just come to the microphone, state your name and address.
My name is Edouard Ruby. I'm the applicant for the variance. A few corrections. The house has been restored in 1999 as something as a driveway. The house has been completely redone on the siding. The only thing has not been redone is at garage because I was planning on doing it. So now the garage has the old siding from 1942 when the house was built, I believe. It will be a matching siding to the house, and then obviously it will be extended as well at the same time. The reason for why I'm doing it is because that house is actually rented, and my renters are asking for more garage space because they have 3 kids and they want to put their toys and stuff like that in a garage in addition to a car. And right now it's a tiny garage. I cannot extend it sideways, like make it a 2-car wide garage, because there's patio and the driveway doesn't let me do that. So the only way I can do it is by extending further. And actually the extended part will be more for the kids to play and to put they have like a small electric car and stuff like that. So, stuff like that. But I don't have any option otherwise to extend the garage. So I told my renter when he moved in 2020 that I was going to do it. And I'm just getting around to do it now. So they're waiting for it. And as far as you mentioned the address at one point, the address is actually 114, not 11. I forgot what you said, but I don't think that the address was correct.
114 Shaw Avenue.
114, yes. So now the siding will be matching the garage, and on the picture that you saw, the driveway was not redone. It was done in 1999. It's a concrete driveway going all the way to the garage. And yes, the clearance is 2.7, but all houses in that neighborhood have the same, either on a property line or like almost on a property line. So I don't have much option, and that's why I'm asking for a variance.
Very good, thank you. Is there anybody else from the public? Did we get any phone calls or emails?
None.
Hearing none, we'll close the public portion and open it up for questions from the commission.
No questions.
Does anybody here have any questions? Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve variance V-0021-2023.
Thank you, Mr. Greenberg. Is there a second?
Second, Suriano.
Thank you, Mr. Suriano. We have a motion by Mr. Greenberg and a second by Mr. Suriano. Are there any discussions on the motion?
I'm going to be in favor of the variance, given the existing structure is already in within the setback. I think it would look very strange if this didn't continue the footprint of the existing garage.
Thank you, Mr. Suriano. No other questions? Jeremy, roll call?
Greenberg,
Yes.
Suriano,
Yes.
Mako,
Yes.
Chapaca,
Yes.
Wester,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Oh, too late. You can't put a swimming pool in. Okay. You're good to go. Okay, thank you. Is there any unfinished business? Hearing none, moving on to new business. Seeing no movement, official reports.
Nothing from the city attorney's office.
Thank you. Director of Planning.
Yeah, just, thank you, Mr. Chair. Real quickly, would just share that I know we're just talking, we do have a workshop next Wednesday. I don't think we have any agenda items, and we shift to the first and third Wednesdays in November. So we might, I think we'd have a meeting today, a meeting the 18th, a meeting the 25th, and one on the 25th. If we don't have any items, we would cancel that, and then we might cancel it anyways. Well, I shouldn't say we'll cancel. We don't have the ability to cancel it. We might not have any items, and it might be November 1st. Anyways, we'd have a meeting, and I think if everything goes well on the 18th, we might have a draft document for you all to kind of peruse. But I would say that a draft document being zoning code. If the discussion goes well, we'll make some amendments based off of what the discussion is on the 18th, and hopefully be able to give you a draft document on the 1st with, I think the thought process is to try to, have a vote on the 15th and hopefully be able to get through city council and have it adopted before the end of the year. Again, if everything goes well. The consultant will be coming in from Cincinnati, joining us next Wednesday. I think we have a few topics we're gonna cover. We're gonna talk just really briefly about why we're doing, rewriting the zoning code. He's going to talk a little bit about some of those national trends that are going on in zoning. And then I think we're going to talk specifically a little bit about just high level on some uses and maybe some architecture, things of that nature. Not doing a super deep dive, but maybe providing some feedback from some of our various engagement efforts that we've had over the years on this, and just trying to make sure that we're going the right direction on some of these things, especially with architecture, where the feedback's been since I've been with the city. Hey, we don't have enough standards, but we don't want it too prescriptive. We don't want everything to be exactly the same. So we have some things proposed in the code, and we'll go over those, just see if we're on the right track and things of that nature. So we do have a few topics. Would say, I think last meeting I shared that, we had the booth at the flea market to talk about the zoning code rewrite. Literally, there was about 10, 15 minutes during that 7+ hours of not having anyone at the booth. So it was very well attended. Couldn't keep track, but easily had 200-300 people. And then we also had online engagement that just wrapped up over the weekend. And we had over 200 respondents to that as well. So getting a lot of good feedback compared to maybe more traditional come to City Hall at 7 on a Tuesday or something like that. So very, and the responses have been very positive. There's, just a lot of folks were really just kind of, happy and grateful that we were, making efforts to reach out to them to let them know what's going on and that. So, yeah, exciting stuff. Looking forward to next Wednesday. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Appreciate it,
Bradford.
Mr. Chair.
Anything carry over from council liaison?
No, I think, in fact, I don't think administration had any items the last meeting, so pretty light. I think we're going to get into some heavy stuff with, budget and things like that in the zoning code, but real light. Yes, sir.
Very good, thank you. Nothing from the mayor, nothing from the chair. Actions and correspondence. Poll members for comment. Yes, Mr. Hicks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A week ago Thursday, there was a BZBA meeting where the Speedway towing appeal was considered. Mr. Tamarkin and I were in attendance for that meeting, and the BZBA did find in favor of the appellee, the Planning Commission. So our decision was upheld by the BZBA. But I wanted to share a couple things from the meeting that we might consider if the situation ever comes back before us or a similar situation. The appellant made the argument that the Planning Commission was flawed in their decision on the conditional use because we also discussed the variance and the design review and in conjunction with that conditional use. So the BZBA members actually considered remanding the decision back to Planning Commission with the instructions that we would not consider anything except the conditional use. Now, Mr. Roth did a fantastic job in our defense, and I think the BZBA members in their deliberation felt that sending it back to Planning Commission wouldn't result in a different action. So what I would suggest is we should consider, as a Planning Commission, anytime there's an application that has multiple components, one of them being sort of a deal killer, so a zoning or a rezoning application or a conditional use, we should consider just hearing that application before we talk about any additional variances or conditional or final development plans or design reviews. We've been in the habit of condensing them into one for efficiency, which works, except when one of those applications, if not voted upon favorably, the rest of the applications wouldn't be considered. So in the future, if we have a rezoning or a conditional use, we should consider hearing that separately. That would be my feedback. This is the first time that argument has been brought up, and at least in my what I've heard from a appellant for the BZBA.
Mr. Hicks, could you summarize, I mean, I don't need you to rehash the whole thing, but the rationale behind, what would be the rationale that would have, I guess, triggered, what was their argument, I guess, in considering it together?
So the attorney for the appellant argued that the commission made comments in our deliberation on the conditional use relating to a variance. Again, I don't know, I didn't go back and check the minutes to see if that were true or not. But they, again, alleged that a commission member made reference to a variance or a design review component in their denial of the conditional use. So that was their argument, that was improper. And if we were just to have talked about the conditional use separately, without those other variables, we might have come to a different decision. But again, the BZBA, I think, made the correct decision that sending it back here wouldn't have changed the outcome. So just something to think about whenever we have a poison pill or something that could kill the rest of the applications, maybe we consider that in a vacuum or without any distraction, so nobody could argue that, our decision was based on something that wasn't in the actual conditional use or zoning application.
I think that's a good clarity for the procedure. Thank you, Mr. Hicks. Hearing nobody else, motion to adjourn?
So moved.